Hey, Cub fans. Thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. And we're going to talk current and former Cub Carl Edwards Jr. And I just want to say that this is a very special piece. It's one of the more special pieces that I think I've done. And I didn't realize it was going to be until I started doing the research and preparing for it. And there are times when I got emotional when I think back of Carl's time with the Cubs and what he did. Um, it's a very interesting story. So I'm going to just suggest that it's probably going to be longer than my average piece. So if you don't have time to watch it, come back another time because at the end we're going to talk about Carl's pitches, how he sort of transformed himself. He's a little different. When the Cubs signed him here in this minor league deal, I was like, wow, I hadn't really heard much of Carl. And I kind of looked at some of his numbers of late, and they just don't look like they just don't look like Carl. Well, turns out he's transformed himself, and now we're going to be looking at a completely different Carl Edwards Jr. So, but I want this piece to pay the proper respect to Carl, a phenomenal Cub in the era of the Cubs World Championship. So I owe it to him to be thorough, and I'm going to be. So I want you to just kick back. I want you to relax. It's a very interesting story with Carl, and I'll start telling it. Carl Fleming Edwards Jr., born September 3rd, 1991. So he's only 32 years old. He's been doing it for a while, and it seems like he's older, but he's just 32. He's 6'3", 165. His nickname is the String Bean Slinger or Carl's Jr. I've always enjoyed both of those. So far he's played 9 years in the bigs, and his first 5 with the Cubs from 2015 to 2019. But Carl was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 48th round in 2011. He had committed to play college ball for Charleston Southern University, the Buccaneers of Charleston Southern. And he had a friend named Will Bedenbaugh. And Carl and Will had planned to go to college together to play ball. Well, unfortunately, Will was killed in an automobile accident, and Carl couldn't face the prospects of going to college, playing the place where his friend was supposed to be there with him. So he decided to just go ahead and sign with the Rangers in 2011, even though he was the 48th rounder. So now he's in the Texas Rangers organization in 2012. He starts out in rookie ball. They bump him up to the low A Spokane team, and he does well. Throws a 1.48 ERA up on the board, 85 strikeouts, a whip of .851, 11.4 strikeouts per 9, only 3.4 bases on balls. So a really phenomenal first run for Carl in 2012. In 2013, he starts the season with the Hickory Crawdads. He goes 8-2 in 93 and a third innings, another sub-2 ERA, 1.83. Whip is really good at 1.029. Strikeouts per 9 at 11.8. So first 2 years in rookie ball, low A, high A Hickory Crawdads doing really well. The 2013 trade happened, so halfway through the 13th season, the Rangers and the Cubs do the deal. Here was the deal. July 22nd, 2013, the Rangers sent Carl to the Cubs along with Mike Holt and Justin Grimm, 2 names you're probably familiar with, for our starting pitcher, Matt Garza. So now he's a Cub. 2013, Cubs place him in high A with the Daytona Cubs. The rest of that season, he pitches 6 games, 1.96 ERA in 23 innings, 12.09 strikeouts per 9, walked his base on balls rate down to 2.7. So another very good stint with the Daytona Cubs in 2013. Started 2014, he starts with the 2A Smokies, starts 10 games, throws for a 2.44 ERA, strikeout per 9 at 8.6, 3.9 walks per 9. Very good. On November 20th of 2014, the Cubs add Carl to the 40-man roster. 2015, He starts the season with the Smokies in Double-A. He's promoted to Iowa in May. He pitches 36 games, 2.77 ERA, no starts. This was the first season. 2015, he's a reliever, where before he hadn't relieved at all. So his first 2 or 3 years in professional baseball, he was a starter. 2015, Cubs making him a full-time reliever. Strikeout per 9 at 12.2. Walks per 9 are up a little at 6.7. Carl made his Major League debut at Busch Stadium against the Cardinals in September of that year, September 7th, 2015. 2016 starts, they start him out in Iowa, and they called him up on June 20th, and after that, he spent the rest of the season with the Cubs, got his first save against the Giants on September 1st. Now, we're talking about 2016 here. So he's called up, he gets his first save early September. That's a big game. We're in a pennant race here, and Carl's debut goes really well. So in 2016, he throws 36 innings in 36 games, ERA 3.75. His whip is .806. He strikes out 13 per 9, walks only 3.5 per 9, 52 Ks. So we look back at that 2016 season, Carl Edwards Jr. was a huge part of that. First of all, he came late, pitches in 36 games, about an inning apiece, came in and just got people out, and when we needed somebody to do that. A sub-1 whip, 13 strikeouts per 9. Carl Edwards Jr. in 2016 was integral. Let's look at his playoff numbers. In 2016, in the National League Division Series against the Giants, Carl pitched in 2 games through 2 innings, gave up nothing. Gave up 1 hit, no runs. Okay. The National League Championship Series against the Dodgers, Carl pitches in 3 games, gets 5 outs, strikes out 2, gives up no hits. So here we are, Carl Edwards Jr. shows up 1st of September, but does really well, helps us immensely, and now gets us to the World Series, giving up nothing in 3 2/3 innings. Carl Edwards Jr., guys. World Series, he pitched in 3 games in the World Series against Cleveland. Pitched 2 2/3 innings, gave up a couple runs, 2 Ks, 2 walks. So you look at Carl Edwards Jr. in the season of 2016, he was integral. He's one of the guys that we look back on and helped us win that World Series. So for that reason, just pause there. For that reason alone, sign him to that minor league contract. Maybe he'll make it, maybe he won't. But a 32-year-old Carl Edwards Jr., right? Now we've got him and Kyle Hendricks. Now there's 2 leftovers from the 2016 championship season. And I just think we give him every shot. I know baseball is a meritocracy. He's got to earn it, and I understand that. I don't want to give him anything, but I think I give him a shot. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he's got. And remember, at the end, we're going to go through his pitches. His pitches are different. Okay, so 2017 with the Cubs, 66 1/3, 2.98 ERA, 1.01 whip. 2018 with the Cubs, 52 innings, 2.60 ERA, 1.308 whip. 2019 with the Cubs, 15 1/3 innings. His ERA balloons up to 5.87. 17 Ks, 1.109 whip. So he had his career with the Cubs, really good. Take out those 15 1/3 innings in 2019. I don't know what happened, but his whip was still low at 1.109. His career with the Cubs, he went 9-8 with a 3.30 ERA, 192 games, 174 1/3 innings, 234 strikeouts, a whip of 1.073, 12.1 strikeouts per 9, 5 walks per 9. That's Carl Edwards Jr. with the Cubs. That's a pretty good career, especially 2016, helping us win that World Series. The trade, July 31st, 2019, Cubs trade him to San Diego for Brad Wick. So at this point, things really go awry for Carl. So up until now, up until this point, up until 2019, starting in his rookie ball, he's done really well, done extremely well. Then all of a sudden, gets out of the Cubs organization, goes to San Diego, and it just starts to fall apart. So much so that he became a free agent at the end of the 2019 season. 2020, he signs with the Mariners, only plays in 5 games. And October 22nd of 22, he's outrighted. He's a free agent. They just let him go. In 2021, he signs with the Braves. That doesn't go well. Allows 3 runs on 3 hits. He's DFA'd. He's another free agent. Let's let him go. 2021, after the Braves DFA'd him, he signs with the Blue Jays. Well, he gets a left oblique injury. Doesn't do anything. He's released on August 29th. Wow. 2022, he signs with the Nationals, a minor league deal. He gets assigned to Rochester, AAA Rochester Red Wings, 2022. So this is about 2 years of getting DFA'd and released and having all kinds of trouble. In 13 games with the Rochester Red Wings in 2022, he has 3 saves, pitches 14 in the 3rd inning, 17 Ks, 4 walks, .488 whip. He dominated in those 13 games with AAA Rochester. So the Nationals call him back up. So he's back. Does well. In 2023, he signs a 1-year contract with the Nationals for $2.25 million. He was arbitration eligible. To avoid arbitration, the Nationals offered him $2.25, and he signs. 32 relief appearances for the Nationals that year. He had a 3.69 ERA. This was last year's 2023. So let's get our heads around that. There's been a lot. But last year, 2023, he's on a $2.25 million deal, 1-year deal with the Nationals. He has 32 relief appearances, throws for a 3.69 ERA. Then he gets shoulder inflammation. He ends up having a stress fracture in his right scapula. So he misses the rest of the season. So that's where we are with Carl Edwards. He had made a comeback, right? So we're like, oh, so the Nationals sign him. He comes back, an integral relief pitcher for them, and gets a stress fracture in his right scapula. I don't know that I've ever heard of that before. So that's where he is. So Cubs signed him to this minor league deal on January 26th with an invitation to spring training. So we're excited for that. Now, the pitches. Here's what I found. I had heard that he had done some, reinvention of himself, and I want to know exactly what it is, and I found it. So you ready? Here's what it is. I'm going to tell you what pitches he threw in 2023 and compare them to what he threw in 2016 for us. Okay, so let's start with his 4-seamer. He's got a 4-seamer, a curve, a change, and a sinker that we'll throw that out. 4-seamer, change, curve. Last year in 2023, he threw the 4-seamer 62.7% of the time. It's a 93.5 mile per hour pitch. It gets hit at this average. Hitters hit 324 off of it with a 486 slug and a whiff rate of only 16.3. In 2016, the 4-seamer, he threw it most of the time, 3/4 of the time. 74% of the time he threw the 4-seamer. Back then, it's 95.8 miles per hour instead of 93.5. Back then, hitters averaged hitting 115 against it compared to the 324 today. In 2016, hitters slugged only 230 compared to the 486. The whiff rate on it in 2020 or in 16 was 34.1% compared to 16.3. So obviously his 4-seam fastball was way more effective in 2016 than it is in 2023. So let's go to his curve. His curveball, he threw 12.7% of the time in 2023. 79.5 miles per hour. Hitters average, check it out, .067 average on his curveball in 2023. In 2016, he had a decent curveball. He threw it harder and more often, threw it 26% of the time. 81.3 mile per hour average. Hitters only hit 143 with a whiff rate of 57.8. So he had a curveball, really good curveball, really good fastball in 2016. I mean, his curveball and his fastball were pretty much dominant. But it's this changeup that he's got. In 2016, he didn't have one. He didn't throw it. What he had, he threw 0.2% of the time. So there's not enough data on it to even talk. I think he threw it maybe 4 times. So he didn't have a change. In 2016, he was 4-seam curveball, and they were really good. So that's the difference now. Carl Edwards Jr. in 2023 threw a changeup 24% of the time. It was a 89.9 mile per hour change. Hitters only hit 161 with it. Had a whiff rate of 32.3%. So that's the difference. Carl now is still a 3-pitch pitcher, but his changeup has made him relevant again. His fastball doesn't have the pace on it that it used to have. His changeup has taken up the slack. So in 2023, he threw 3 pitches, 4-seamer 62%, changeup 24%, and the curve 13%. So that's what we're going to be looking for. The Carl Edwards changeup. His 4-seamer is still good when he gets it up. He gets hit. The 324 average came when he missed his spot. He's got to keep it up. He's got to keep it at the top edge of the strike zone. And when he does that, he gets swings and misses on it. But okay, I'm ready to see it. 32-year-old Carl Edwards Jr. Sporting a new changeup. We'll see. The beauty of it is we get to see it. I hope he's healthy. I hope he hits spring training ready to go. And if he can put up those numbers, our pen just got deeper. We just added Hector, and now Carl Edwards Jr. is laying there. We'll see. It's very interesting. But Carl Edwards Jr., phenomenal Cub. I'm glad to have him back. I hope he does well, and we're certainly going to be watching Carl as we progress through spring training. So hope you enjoyed that piece on Carl Edwards Jr. I really enjoyed doing it. Thanks for tuning in here at Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. I love spending time with you guys and talking our Cubs, and I hope you do too. We'll see you very soon. Go Cubs, go.